We're live from New York and Washington, D.C. Aparna Pande is with us. Aparna is a research fellow and director of Hudson Institute's India Initiative. And she's also fellow Center on Islam, Democracy and the Future of the Muslim World. That's a long designation to have. But basically, we're talking about the Modi-Trump summit that's coming up on June 26th. This is the word on the street. It's that basically, this is a meeting where India can check out Trump. It's not just a first summit meeting. It's the first time ever that Modi is actually going to meet Trump at all. They've never met before, face to face. And there is, of course, talk about, what might come up, what might not come up, will H-1Bs come up or not. But the word from the MEA side and from the embassy side is this, that look, we might as well leave the nitty-gritty to the bureaucracy and try and make this a meeting of minds, which is why it is called a summit meeting after all. Get an idea of where this guy stands on India, and then move from there and then decide which flight to take where. So I'm not the expert, Aparna is, so I'll hand it over to her. Aparna's book, in fact, From Chanakya to Modi, The Evolution of India's Foreign Policy, comes out this July. So very good time to talk to her.
Morning, Nikhila.
It's all fresh in her mind. So Aparna, tell us what success will look like when Modi and Trump walk out of the White House.
Morning, Nikhila. Thank you very much. Success, the fact that Prime Minister Modi is meeting President Trump within the first, let's say, 6 months of President taking over and about 8 or 9 months since the elections is success. The Prime Minister wanted to come in the first 6 months so that he would be among the other leaders like the Chinese President and the Japanese Prime Minister who met President Trump, and that it would be a one-on-one meeting. It would not be a sideshow at a UN Security Council or a G20 meeting. Real success would be something on the economic front. If each of the two leaders can give something to the other side. We have to remember, they are both leaders who have won elections primarily promising economic growth, promising employment, promising jobs, and restoring their country's position on the global arena. So if each side can offer the other investment, job creation, that would be great, though that may be a little difficult to achieve in this first summit meeting. So most likely it's going to be a meeting of minds, a lot of photo ops, and then seeing in the next few months what each side can offer the other.
मतलब बहुत कुछ expectation नहीं रखना चाहिए, and don't expect too much on the bucket list either. Is that right?
नहीं, बिल्कुल ज़्यादा बिल्कुल expect नहीं करना चाहिए आपको. जितना आप expectation low रखेंगे, उतनी आपको success और कामयाबी मिलेगी.
Okay, so ये भी हम सुन रहे हैं कि despite Trump's rocky meetings in Germany and traditional US allies, on the other side, look at the Abe meeting, look at the Xi meeting. In fact, the Abe meeting is seen to be some kind of touchstone unofficially, कि अच्छा वो ठीक ठाक गया, तो there is probably a kind of pattern also maybe building up, that Modi gets added to that list. ऐसे कुछ सुनाई दे रहा है आपको?
Yes, in one sense, you remember that India ally नहीं रहा है कभी भी. Japan has been a very old ally from post World War II. Germany भी ally रहा है. तो allies की relationship फर्क है United States के साथ. India is, हमने हमेशा alliance हम दूर रहे हैं. We don't want to be called an ally. We want to be a partner. We are not a country, there's a lot of aid which has come, or we have any American troops. So वो issue भी नहीं है. President Trump and Mr. Modi actually get along. They've spoken a few times. A lot of Mr. Modi's supporters in the United States, in the diaspora, actually voted for Mr. Trump, and Mr. Trump appealed to them in the elections. So there is a connect where each side feels that the other has a positive image or a positive view and has been good for them. And the issues with India are not the issues with Germany or Japan in that sense. हम चाइना भी नहीं है कि हमारा ट्रेड डेफिसिट इतना हाई हो या हम इतनी जॉब्स ले रहे हो अमेरिकन्स के, वो इशू भी नहीं है हमारा. So we are relatively lucky in that sense. We have a good relationship, strong economic relationship, strong defense relationship, security cooperation, and the US establishment wants an India which is stronger and helps the United States.
Okay, so you brought up something which I think a lot of people will want to know but don't know whom to ask. Every time there's an Indo-US summit, the fine print or the detailing of, what's an ally? Are we allies, not allies? How do we define ourselves? So, I mean, obviously, on the wonk circuit, you guys know what that means. But explain in simple terms, for the man on the street, what is that fine line that divides an ally from someone who's aligned but not an ally?
So India ke liye this is very important. Post independence, the Indian leaders decided that we will not be in any alliance. For India, alliance means military. It does not mean economic. It does not mean it's counter-terror. It just primarily means military. So India has refused to be part of any military alliance with any country. We are part of a number of multilateral agencies, United Nations, regional corporations like SAARC, G20 and others, but we will not be part of any military alliance. United States, we have therefore always said that we are your partner, we are your friend, but we will never join a formal treaty alliance with you. Which is why when I differentiate, I say कि Japan की treaty alliance है. Japan has got aid, the Marshall Plan, and beyond. Japan has American troops there. Germany, NATO alliance, Marshall Plan, a number of troops and economic assistance. India was never in that category. And we don't want to be in that category. We say हम आपके दोस्त हैं, हम आपके साथ रास्ते पे चलेंगे, लेकिन हम treaty sign नहीं करेंगे आपके साथ.
Okay. So there are people joining in. Sumati, glad you're joining in. Any questions? Do ping it. I won't answer them. I won't attempt it, but Aparna can certainly pick it up. Just for those who are joining in just now, Aparna Pande is director of Hudson Institute's initiative on the future of India. Her book is coming out this July, Chanakya to Modi. Nice name. All right. So let's move on to H1B. Aparna, चाहे वो H1B पर बात करें या ना करें, ये बात जरूर है कि it's the most highly regulated work visa anywhere in the world. Forget about US. So it's not like life's easy for the H1B worker anyway. It's a lot of paperwork already. And on top of it, it's the backlash really. It's not just about what these people as leaders say or not say or avoid. The backlash has begun. A reset is pretty much imminent, don't you think?
See, the thing is, this is an issue which has been there for a long time. So, Prime Minister Manmohan Singh discussed it with President Obama. Prime Minister Modi discussed it with President Obama, and Prime Minister Modi will discuss it with President Trump, or either this time or next time. It's imminent. It will happen. H1B matters to Indian companies. It matters to the Indian prime ministers. It did not matter traditionally. For many decades, we really didn't care what our diaspora did in the 60s, 70s, but we do care about it now. And the BJP has a very strong presence in the diaspora, and Mr. Modi's appealed to his diaspora, so he will. Now, H1B, full disclosure, I watched it in H1B till a few years ago. So I know what it's like to be H1B. I know how important it is, and I benefited from the program. I know the amount of paperwork, I know the amount of money, I know all that you have to go through. I'm not in the tech sector, so I'm the non-techie H1Bs, but I was an H1B. Now, H1B has benefited both India and the United States. US has got highly skilled labor. Their companies have benefited from this labor which has come in. And India and Indian workers and Indian companies have benefited. Now, what we need is that both sides actually find a way in which, as time has changed, as technology has changed, maybe there's need for an updating or upgrading of this system. But the problem, I agree with you, is not just the visa issue. It is how you have portrayed it. It's the fact that, it's also a domestic issue. The domestic issue in the United States with the elections and everything happening, that people are worried that are immigrants welcome in this country or not. So H-1B has become part of a broader debate about immigration.
Yeah, and I'm sure, Modi understands. I mean, he's the quintessential politician who's coming
and he know
Trump.
Yeah, and he also knows, how issues matter. I mean, so you say something in elections, and then how does that impact your base? He knows that as well, because the BJP has its own base, which often creates problems for it and for his policies.
Okay, so let's move on to that question, which is just, it has to be asked for the news cycle. So since you specialize in Pakistan, and we've spoken earlier on this issue, I think you will have to tell us how would this be brought into this conversation? Will it have to figure? Usually it does, right?
Yeah. Pakistan has been on the table for the almost 2 decades or 2.5 decades that US and India have become closer and have started to discuss issues, and the United States has started to see India as the main player in the region. So it discusses Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal, but especially Pakistan because of India's concerns, because of terrorism concerns, and increasingly because of Afghanistan. So Pakistan will be on the table. The US's policy towards Afghanistan and Pakistan is currently under review. So India will want to know what is United States planning aside from additional troops and other things. What is it planning for Afghanistan, and by default, what is it planning for Pakistan? And Pakistan is also interested in this issue. The question is, what has happened is that the majority of people in the policy world in the city believe that the policy towards Pakistan needs to be changed. That we can't have what the US used to do, provide aid, military and economic, and just continue with it. The question is what will change? Aid has already come down. There's talk of cutting off CSF totally, or at least bringing it down to almost nothing. There are no big ticket conventional equipment that United States is currently planning on selling to Pakistan. The only question is, if US decide to send in more troops into Afghanistan, what is it going to ask of Pakistan?
Okay, and what is what is the US ask towards India going to be then, right?
Yes, absolutely, and how it will impact, what India does in Afghanistan, and and will there be anything about India-Pakistan in it? So those are the issues which we have to see in the next few weeks.
There's this general talk going around, at least there is hope among policy, in this policy circuit, that if the last person in the room to brief Trump before he goes to a meeting is remotely clever or maybe wise, then it could affect the decisions he makes. But, jokes apart, does all this even matter? Because see, Trump, everyone's trying to get an idea of how he operates. Nobody has been able to predict anything that he does, except once when, let's say, during the Comey testimony, he was actually made to keep away from his cell phone. His lawyer succeeded in doing that. For at least those 2 hours, he did not touch his cell phone. But apart from that one instance, everyone seems to have got Trump wrong on what he will do next. Like on the climate thing also, there was no compromise. He just stepped away. So, on Pakistan, do you think they're going to be looking at, acha, theek hai, paise kitne hai isme? As in, what are you giving us? What's in it for me? If that's the America we are facing, then is there any talk of arms deals? Maybe announced, may not be announced, but is there talk?
You mean US-Pakistan arms deals?
US-India
arms deals? Yes. US would like, as I said, economics is going to be the basis of the relationship. So it'll increase that economic dimension. You see, US-India relationship has an economic strategic dimension. Traditionally, the United States has emphasized the strategic part. It's India is a strategic partner, is a strategic friend. So the economic dimension isn't as strong. Under this presidency, the economic dimension will become stronger. And so there will be an ask, what can you give us? How much will you buy? Or how much will your companies invest? How many jobs will you create?
Correct. So you're saying that ye to pakka hone wala hai.
The question is, how much can we do? Because India is also trying to, it's a competition between Make in India and Make in America. So it's going to be how much can each side give the other, so that the other side feels that you are giving something to them, but you're not hurting your own domestic manufacturing and your desire to make your country a manufacturing hub.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. So do you want to wind this up for us with some key messages?
Yes. So what I would say is a few things. One, this Modi-Trump visit is more symbolic. Ms. Prime Minister Modi wants to meet with President Trump. I don't really see any big ticket items coming out of this, but the fact that he meets him and starts the conversation is important. The fact that Indian Prime Minister meets him months before anybody else from the region, let's leave China aside, is important. Afghanistan will be on the table. What is US policy towards Afghanistan and how it will affect India, and what does US expect from India? Pakistan will be on the table, and India will be especially concerned is India would like US to put more pressure on Pakistan, especially with respect to the groups which attack India in Afghanistan, Lashkar-e-Taiba and Hafiz Saeed. Also, that the United States should not provide more aid, and that US should actually target the safe havens inside Pakistan. And finally, economics. I mean, is there something that India can give United States, whether on the defense arena or any other, which will make Mr. Trump see India as a good investment and a good deal?
Okay, and as hacks, we are all looking at, okay, will there be a press conference or not? Will they talk when they come out of the room or not?
And will they hug each other?
Yeah, the optics. All right. Thanks, Aparna. Thanks for your time. And
Thank you.
Good luck with your book.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.